Okay, so I've had some technical issues around correcting through Tradingview stream directly. So I'm going to try an OBS. This is actually going to be recorded and then kind of uploaded in terms of the connection. So let's see if this ultimately works. So to start with, let's go into Bitcoin. I think, as obviously the last couple of daily updates have been pretty much the same, I still think we are actually seeing the daily moves as we suggested from the underside of the Wyckoff structure, where we're going for the daily Wyckoff. So exactly as Wyckoff said, there's an element of retest, retest, and retest again. So the first one was clearly the day after this particular drop. This one I think was a failed move. We are now getting a nice ascending channel. So I'd like to see ultimately another failed, giving us a top, and then possibly a break, a retest, and then obviously a further drop down, at least to this liquidity level. I think that's the first kind of part of this for me. I think from here, we're also seeing a couple of other bits and pieces. So if we were to stick on the sell indicator, obviously from the Wyckoff move that we were looking at, we saw at the kind of distribution channel. And this particular indicator, the reason that we've got two, we've actually got the buy and the sell, is that we were looking for the zone structure. Now you can use this on a smaller time frame. The actual indicator takes the next time frame down. So although we're trading on the daily, you could actually treat this as a 12-hour chart. So we've got the sell me now kind of calls at the distribution levels within Wyckoff. And this is something that we've taken a long time, obviously, developing. So it's kind of more an indicator to use in conjunction with the Wyckoff schematic rather than standalone there. I wouldn't take this call because we're actually not in a structure. I personally don't like these calls in terms of taking them a longer term trader. So for me, the next real call is going to be on the retest of the underside, exactly as Wyckoff himself would have taken. But for me, I'm also a kind of trend trader rather than counter trend. So I'm actually looking for the much bigger time frame. Seeing that we actually had a 3 weekly, I'm looking for the four. I'm actually looking for the four to complete before I actually start looking to take this long rather than taking the short side of the trade. So just being kind of transparent with you guys. Yes, I've made a few calls in and around this particular move to start with, but it's kind of not really interesting for me. There's a couple of key areas that could potentially act now as resistance, but again, I'm kind of more keen on the Wyckoff schematic as a whole. And the other thing that I do find interesting is these XTL candles showing clearly the uptrend and the change of character in this trend, giving us the last LPSY before the drop down. This is still on the daily, and therefore, until we get some kind of white or green candle in this area, I'm still treating this as the current downtrend. So, like I said, I'm aiming for four. This is what I think we're still in, and therefore nothing really changes in terms of my opinion at the moment. We've actually got a stochastic sitting at the 50% marker, relatively low volume, which we can see with this sideways action. That doesn't give me a feeling of comfort in terms of weekly 4 to 5 move. This is definitely still in a four. We've had an ABC move down. We're now moving into some combo type move. Still a little bit early to tell whether this is going to be a triangle or a flat, but the longs and shorts is it's actually still a corrective move, and that's all I'm interested in at the moment. So what else have we got? We've actually got the current move. So again, pretty much as we've just discussed, we've actually had the A move down, we've got the B move back, we've got the C move down, and therefore I think although this is calling a 4 and a 5, this is more to do with the software. I actually ignore these in terms of numbers. I'm not really into the naming convention. It's kind of something I used to do, spend a lot of time, wasted a lot of time. And actually now I'm just more keen on the overall view. So for me, I think we're going to get another little push up there. before a deeper drop down. In theory, this could now be acting as accumulation rather than distribution, so we're going to see some kind of spring at the bottom. There's a couple of other signs that is actually looking at, let's look all across to this one. So what I was looking at on this particular move is the A, the B, and the C, as I've just said. I forgot obviously to change the screen, so I'll go back over that again. So A, B, and C, C being down here. We spoke about the 4 move up and then obviously dropping down for the 5. So for me, this is where the combo actually starts. We had the retest of the Wyckoff schematic at this level, a failed retest here, and basically the drop down. I think we're going to get another kind of retest there. I wouldn't be surprised if it pokes its head a little bit higher, completing the 4 in terms of the software, and then moving on into the next view. So if I get rid of this one and come into this one, we're actually seeing from the asset manager side quite a sharp drop off in terms of the short positions. Still running pretty much in parallel, if I'm honest, although there's a bit of a decrease in the long positions here on the Bitcoin move. I genuinely feel that, you know, we're still kind of collecting data that is pretty much sideways. Nothing there is giving me indication of a crossover. This is a little bit closer, but this could easily change on Friday's data. And therefore, again, still nothing really changed in my opinion. So, yeah, pretty much as it was yesterday, and waiting for some kind of clarity on this move as to where we go next. So that's pretty much it. I think obviously without the technical difficulties, I would have jumped maybe more into Ethereum and XRP. But given we've had a few issues with the connection into TradingView, then I'm going to cut this one pretty short. Obviously, there's no real kind of questions and answers in terms of live charts. But if I can play this back and stream this into TradingView itself, then I'll actually sit there and watch this back over. So if there are questions, I'll be live for it. But the chart itself is not going to be live, just for you guys to know. So yeah, hopefully this works, and let's check it out.